This is the garden party, and we want a garden party with you. We talk about the plants we grow and some things you might not know. The garden party.
That was epic.
Dude, shout out to Craig. Shout out to Craig.
Man.
Amazing.
Dude, last week I asked Craig, or I asked, like, hey, if anybody knows what they're doing, go ahead and like do a intro for us. And Craig was like, I will have it to you by Monday. And he had it to me on Sunday afternoon. Like, it was amazing, dude. Like, so shout out to Craig for that awesome theme song. We are
what's Craig's handle? We need to know so we can give proper credit.
It's like Music Life with Craig. He'll be on. Oh, he'll be on.
All right.
I'm gonna have to play it again for him when he hops back in. But he's actually in here. He's actually here in Houston. I met quite a few people, garden party animals, at the meetup last week, and we'll get into that. But we are live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube, and we're live on the Texas Garden Guy Instagram now as well. We figured out how to do that. So boom, that is happening. So thank you all very much for joining us. I'm Texas Garden Guy. It is Wednesday, and every Wednesday is the garden party. So welcome, welcome, welcome. So let's go ahead and start it off with the man with the figs in his hand, Mr. Phil's Figs. How you doing, brother?
What up, everybody? It's your favorite plant parent, regular parent, juggling the two. On my favorite thing of the week, where I get to talk plants. Sometimes my kids join us as well.
And whose birthday is it today, Phil?
Today is my oldest's birthday. She turned 7, so happy birthday to Pippa. Love you.
Oh, happy
You just saw her on
birthday.
top of her head. So we had, oh my gosh, 7's like, you're a kid. We hang out, we garden, we argue over things, and she has good reasons for things. And I was like, that's a valid point. Things like that.
I love it.
I love it.
And I'm finally a rock nerd like Phil, so I got my magic
Oh,
bringing good vibes to the podcast. I'm officially a rock hound.
Get that in.
It's purple. It's purple and pretty, but I blame you because you showed me your pocket rock, and now I like rocks. So, and that
but
is
how
not
loud? How loud is the rock tumbler in the garage? Is it loud? Like, what's the volume?
It's at the front of the garage, and I actually have two now. I have two dual 6-pound tumblers, and they're both at the front of the garage, and they're not that loud. When you're in the garage, yeah, they're loud. But I mean, outside of it, it's all right.
Oh man, but Destin sent him. He's like, "What is this? What kind? Is this a fossil?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's a fossil. It might be a stromatolite." We talked about that, and then other times we're like, "Well, maybe it's an ammonite."
I love it.
It's a garden party, not rock talk. So that's the other podcast. We'll do it afterwards.
We'll do soil science sometime. Anyway,
That podcast rocks. So.
Oh
My God, the dad jokes.
Josh, it was great seeing you tonight. Thanks for stopping by.
Speaking of Josh, what's up, Josh? How you doing, dude?
I am excited to be here. Talk about pawpaws tonight. We're talking about pawpaws. I'm a big fan.
Somebody's grandpa?
Yeah, pawpaw. Not Pawpaw Ridge. He's pretty awesome though.
Yes.
But yeah, the plant, and yeah, I'm just excited. I'm on my 100th persimmon in the last 2 weeks, so I don't know if there's a medical issue there, but I've eaten a lot of persimmons lately.
Or a medical discovery. We don't know. Maybe we know.
Yet.
So I'm excited to be here, talk fruit and trivia around plant terms. So get ready to test the limits of your plant term knowledge.
Josh, I have a quick question. Why you mentioned persimmons? Have we delved into astringent varieties, or are we still working with non-astringent right now?
I mean, I have both, but right now I'm in the astringent, which means you got to pick them at the right time.
Right.
Ooh. Gotcha. We're going to talk persimmons because we're going to talk about my road trip. I saw more persimmons than I've ever seen in my entire life on this past road trip. So I want to talk about that in a little bit. But Des, welcome back, Des, from a brief hiatus.
Everyone.
How are you doing?
Good. I am barely coming up for air because college is a lot. It's a whole lot. But I am ahead in all my classes, which is great, except for one. But I like it. It's just been interesting trying to find a new normal. And then we did do some traveling. We went to Washington State last week, I guess it was, I don't know, a little over a week ago. We loved it. It was great. I saw a lot of really cool plants. I got to see some orca in the wild and some humpback whales. And I've been posting little video snippets from my trip. And I hope to get back to posting regularly soon. I do have some things I've been filming, so
That's awesome. Well,
I just don't have time to edit them.
yeah, no, for sure. I'm editing about 30 hours of footage right now. I did about 30 nursery tours. So I'm with you there.
No.
Yeah, man. I invested I invested in something called a toolbox, which is like a little it's almost like a little MIDI keyboard, but it works with CapCut. And it's like a little shortcut, like wheels and extra buttons to help with like CapCut editing. So I'm working with that right now. It's kind of making my life a little bit easier. But we'll talk about that off camera. That's behind the scenes stuff. We have a first time guest this week. Some of y'all may know her as Audrey's Little Farm. What's going on, Audrey? How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you guys? Well, I guess you already all said you're doing great. I'm doing great, and thank you for having me.
No, absolutely. You were recommended by Josh, and I looked up your channel, and you got a lot going on. Let everybody know where you're from and what you do.
Yes. So I am from Central Valley of California in a little town called Exeter. So if there's California people listening, the two big towns are Fresno North and Bakersfield South. But Exeter itself is a nice little town in the base of the foothills, kind of. I've lived here my entire life, and I'm like the fourth generation of family farmers in this area. So cool stories and backgrounds there. And I am a wife and a mom of a 3-year-old little boy. And so I was watching you with your little kids, Phil, and I'm like, one day Cooper can like come sit in my lap, but right now he's napping. So he'll want to join in.
Well, that's like we're in a different time zone because it's like right now they do that right before bath, and they come like, we'll say goodnight to dad. And I was like, all right, coming in here. And when George was really young, he'd be like, what's going on?
Earlier, I was watching a training on the computer, and Cooper comes walking up, and he like goes to point to the person's face, and he's like, who is that? And I'm like, Cooper, they're on the computer. And he like doesn't grasp the like not human can't touch the thing.
They're in the computer. They're in the computer.
Trying to touch, and I'm like, not yet. But anyway, so that's a little bit of life. I got in, basically have like garden and farm my entire life, which is really cool. And that's where like the passion for gardening started, just working on the farm here with my great grandpa when I was a little kid. And then my dad and mom took it over. And so I've always been out and helping with trees and everything. And then always had a garden going, and just in college wanted to try to start a blog just to be able to teach others how to start a garden basically. And then it turned into this thriving business, which I'm very thankful and blessed that I can now stay home with Cooper and have a from home job. So it was kind of like a dream and then turned into reality. And now I'm like, wow, now I can't keep up with everything. So I feel like you, Destin, with like all the footage, just like, where do you find the time to even edit and all the things? So I'm still a one-woman show, but everything's going good.
I always tell people the reason I can do the things I do is because I don't have children. That is the only reason I can do like the things I do are the things you would be doing if you weren't at soccer practice or at school or your PTO. Like that's the only reason I'm able to do the things I'm doing. And so it's awesome seeing people who do have kids that are able to get as much done as possible as like people like you and Phil. And, it's crazy, and then it's also really cool. We've had a couple people from like the Central California area. We've had Zach Wartiska. I think he actually moved to Tennessee now. He's not in California. He was the Bakersfield area. But the same way people think of Texas, they think I'm out like on a ranch. People think if like you're from California, you must be like in LA or San Diego or San Francisco. But like California is a huge farming area. Like it's huge over there. Like tell us a little bit about what your parents, like your family did growing up, like what kind of farming they did.
Yeah. So the property where we currently live, it's just 50 acres. So it's probably more been like, I should say, like, we're not in the farming of like, it hasn't been our business. We all have always had jobs, and like the farming is kind of like the side tax write-off thing. But always been like a huge part of our life. So when I was little, my great grandparents were the ones farming, and they always had a bunch of different things. And I don't know, I guess like being a kid, I don't know what the market was at, but they always had like little bits of everything. So I don't know if they were connected with, I'm like going off on tangents. I think they were connected with smaller sellers, not necessarily like, because we didn't have a ton of anything. So like we had like a plot of citrus, we had plums, nectarines, peaches, grapes, persimmons. Speaking of persimmons, we had pomegranates, like every fruit, and like in little plots, or like 2 rows of this, 2 rows of that. And so I just remember, the guys would come in to harvest, and I'm guessing like it probably went off to maybe like a farmer's market maybe or something, or like small.
Gotcha. So y'all were like a huge almond farm or anything like that. Y'all were like a little bit of everything pretty much.
Yep. And so that was like my whole life growing up was always just a little bit of everything. And I was always like, the day they would come pick whatever the fruit was, I would just go out there and cry because I couldn't have the fruit anymore. And I was like, why did I have to take the fruit? And so anyways, harvest day was always the worst. And so I remember at whatever age we started what we called like our little small family orchard. So we would put like one of everything that was growing on the ranch in like this small plot. And so it reminds me of like what Josh is doing, but it was smaller than what you're doing. And we would just have one of everything. And so that was fun. So then we'd have it for ourselves. And then my great grandpa always had a little vegetable garden going just for the family, which growing up, the house that I'm like currently in right now is the house I grew up in. And my parents now live where my great grandparents were, which is like 100 yards to the north. So I'd always go back and forth and like hang out with great grandparents and, walk back down to here. So really fun memories. And like I would go around and irrigate on the golf cart with him. So I just remember, basically just helping out with just all the little things. And then as they got older, or I mean, I guess not as they got older, they were old my whole life, which is kind of mean, but like they were like 80 when I was born, probably like they were.
It's so weird. Like when your grandparents were like 40 or something when you were born, and like then you become 40, like, wait, am I old now? Like, how does this work? Like,
oh my gosh,
it's so weird. Phil, sorry, dude.
No, I know. I'm 39, so it's like.
Oh, come on. I'm 43. Come on.
I'm 41. Hush up, both of you babies.
I don't feel old, though, which is really nice. And then, but it's also vice versa. I remember you see, like, you on a college campus, like UNCW, and I see the students, and I'm like, these are children.
Guys.
Des is in college right now.
Speaking of children, like I am literally in school with 18-year-olds right now, and we're like writing papers and doing peer reviews, and it is a interesting experience.
Are there any Sheldon Coopers? Have you seen like any 10-year-olds going to college, like in their masters yet? Have you seen any of those?
I wouldn't know because we're all virtual, but
okay.
I couldn't take anything they said serious. I'd be like, you haven't lived life, okay? You have nothing to say to me right now.
Somebody literally said, one thing I've learned in all of my 18 years of life on this planet is, and that was one of the sentences, and I was like,
it's always weird. It's always weird when I hear someone say they were born in like 2010, or like it's like, oh my god. It's like if you were
after the iPhone.
Yeah, if you're born after 9/11, I don't think I should trust you like on certain decisions. Like it's
I'm just still trying to figure out, and this is just, I know this is just the human condition, but when do you feel like an adult? Like at what point?
Okay. We're gonna keep tangential flighting for this reason, but like I had a conversation with my parents.
This is how this goes, Audrey, by the way.
And like huge congrats to my dad getting through his cancer treatment, right?
Yes.
But we were talking, and I went to go help. And I go, when do I'm having all these conversations that I'm fortunate enough to have with my parents from like, when do I start feeling like an adult? I don't feel old. He's like, Phil, we don't feel old. My dad's in his 70s. My mom just turned 70. So it's like, they're like, we don't feel old. So just so you know, everyone listening, it's never going to happen unless you decide that it's happened.
I guess that's true.
I'm too busy to feel old. Like, that's how I feel like. If you're sitting around wondering how old you are or how old you feel, you don't have enough to do. Like I don't have time to do nothing. Like I'm always doing something. Like I don't have time to think about that.
My wife says
every man has. Oh, sorry, Josh.
My wife says that men mature at 43, which happens to be my age. But I think each year she might up that a year.
I don't believe you ever had like a wild side to Josh. I think you've always been this mature and calm, though.
No, he got it out of his system. We don't know that.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't know.
Yeah.
Oh my
but there's two quotes that I hold. It's like we never hear that quote that everyone has two lives, and the second begins when they realize they only have one.
You say 2 wives or 2 lives?
Lives.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So I'm on my second one, so that makes sense for me.
Right.
Honestly,
so once
what
you realize
keeps
you only
me
have one, it's like a bit of perspective. Like, okay, now what am I going to do with it? That vibe.
one thing that keeps me young and going
Say
is
it.
my childlike
Guys, don't talk
wonder
about that.
for
I'm just kidding.
gardening.
There it is.
My childlike wonder
yeah.
for
Bringing it back.
gardening and insects and anything that I can like. My passion keeps me going. That's like, I think everybody here can agree with that.
Thank you
I
for
I love
bringing us
seeing
back. Thank you for
all
bringing
of
us back to
you.
the topic.
I love
Yes.
seeing all of you in your passions.
Absolutely.
It's great.
Well,
There's something wholesome about why we all love gardening. And it's that time, like, unfortunately, I don't share it on the camera as much, but there's times where I just like am sitting out there, I'm piddling. There's no direct plan of what I'm doing out there other than maybe I got the leaf blower and blow that out of the way. Maybe I'll just feel the bark on this tree. Like, you're just present and you get that meditative state. You're like, oh, this is why I love it.
Mhm.
so is your parents and your family being on the property where you're at? Is that what got you into? You've been gardening and farming your whole life, pretty much. Like that's why you love it. Kind of connects you to your past and everything like that.
Yeah. So so fast forward to today, when my great grandparents passed away, my parents then took over the property. So obviously there's grandparents in between, but they weren't here on the property. So it was like great grandparents to my parents and then me. And my parents now planted the whole property in walnuts. So now we are in a permanent crop. So like when I was a child, it was everything you could imagine. I remember every fruit. And then we did hay for a while because my parents are also cattle ranchers. So then that's like another little side passion, but it's like the one that I keep offline because I don't want to teach about it. You know, I'm like, I actually just love going to the ranch and going to brandings and gathering cows, but I don't want to teach it, which gardening I love as a passion, but I also love teaching it. So the cattle ranching I'm keeping private, but I would be happy to answer questions for those who like want to have cows. But
yeah, it's always difficult when it gets into animal questions like that because
Yeah.
everybody's so opinionated.
because people always are like, oh, you should start like showing your life on the ranch. And I'm like, well, first of all, there's gonna be a lot of people that don't like cattle ranchers. So I don't want to deal with that. And then it turns into a job. So like I go out to the garden and like what Phil was just saying, like you go out there and you can just like piddle around with everything. But then everything's always this thing in my head of like, oh, that could be a YouTube video. This could be a podcast and a blog post. So then I'm like, things don't just take me 10 minutes to complete like they should. It'll be like 2 hours turned into like, 10-minute project into 2 hours.
Right. Very true.
So,
It's hard to
Anyway.
turn it off sometimes. I know the feeling.
Not
So-
everything can be a video, is what I'm learning.
No.
in life.
ABC, always be content, baby. Always be content.
yeah. So the gardening, I guess, is like the farming. I love just helping family and, always growing up here and getting to like grow up where I always grew up and never have had to leave home. And so that part's been awesome. But the garden was just like a smaller scale and just obviously like gives you food year round for your own family. So I was just always really passionate about growing through all the seasons. And then here where we are, we can basically grow all year long, which is really nice. So we do have super hot summers, but they're dry. We don't have humidity really. So everything grows really good through the summer, even though it's hot. And then winters are fairly mild. So
What
basically
zone are you all in over there?
we're zone 9B.
It's the same as me. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Nice.
we just don't have the high humidity. Like it's hot and dry, but not humid at all. And then
Do y'all get freezes? Do y'all get any snow or anything like that?
no snow. I think the last time it snowed, I was like 2. So I've never seen snow like here at the house, but 15 minutes up the road, you can see snow like on the foothills. But we'll have usually like an occasional week or two of like a hard freeze, like below 32, but that's usually it. We're usually like low 40s, like high 30s as our lows throughout the winter.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
How do
So
you
it
deal
makes
with the long
gardening pretty
dry?
easy.
How do you deal with that long dry spell? I'm just curious. We're in like a month-long dry spell right now. What's the solution?
As far as like, you mean like taking care of the garden just because you're not getting rain and that sort of thing?
Yeah.
So we're just not used to rain. So like my irrigation's always set up. So like I never take it down because our stuff won't break during the winter really. I mean, I shouldn't say that because that'll be like the first winter that like everything freezes and blows up. But I keep like my irrigation set up also all winter long in the garden, and I just keep it going until we do start getting rain. Usually it's like December, January we start getting rain, and then it's like consistent enough I'll turn everything off. So I just count on irrigating always.
Is it drip irrigation for the most part?
Yeah, I do. So right now I actually I don't have drip tape up, but I just got a whole bunch of new raised beds actually. So I'm redoing a certain area of the garden. But right now I just have some really long rows that I'm growing in, and I skip raised bed gardening for the season. But so I have just like the adjustable emitters at each plant, because during the summer I didn't have things like lettuces and carrots that are all close planted. So it was all bigger things where I could just have like the individual emitters. But now as like the fall crops go in, like your lettuce and carrots and everything, obviously the drip tape is a lot easier to use just because it waters everything more closely. So I'm resetting all that up hopefully this week.
Nice.
Yeah. What do you, well, I guess Josh and Destin, or I guess all of you, do you guys use drip tape, or what is your method of irrigation?
Oh man. So I have the button drippers that I used for a while for my fig trees. And then I haven't scaled it. So there's been a big back and forth of hand watering and different methods. My raised beds, I have enough of them that I don't need drip irrigation for that. And I also live in Wilmington, North Carolina. And in the summertime, it rains almost daily at 4 p.m. Right on, because I'm literally like, I can smell the ocean air sometimes from my house. And so we have a very humid climate in the summer, so I don't get super worried about it. It's oftentimes it's more like the pots heat up and they get really hot, and it's like watering them cool keeps them cool. So that plays a role. But like right now, I'm starting to have to water more because it's been like a drought for us for sure. Although we might be getting a lot of rain very soon.
Okay.
But the button drippers have been really good for my micro orchard of my potted figs, because then I can just flip it on and go.
Yeah.
What has everybody's high temperature been for the highest temperature this week been? Because with the real field temperature here in Austin, we hit 105 degrees this last week.
Ooh.
90 was the high here.
Yeah.
It's about as hot as we've gotten lately.
Today the high was 94 here today.
It's been in the mid 60s in the mornings, and then in the high 80s in the evenings, maybe hitting, in the mid afternoons, hitting maybe low 90s. But it's been a cooler week for me. Kind of a sign of things getting a little bit cooler. I think we had, our first like 50 or below weather last year this time, because I was looking back on a video from this time last year, and I was moving all my desert roses and stuff into the garage. So I think we had some cooler weather, like very briefly, for a couple of days, and then it popped back up. So we always get those falls, and I'm sure we'll hit another high 90s a couple of days. But right now it's been pretty mild for us.
Yeah, I think maybe next week we're going to start dropping a little bit, and then I might put something out there. But right now, like, I think I've seen people, I asked, like, what are you growing right now? People are saying cilantro and kale. And I'm like, please drop your zone your growing zone and like what your high temperature is this week, because
I'm still ready to talk about this though, because you know what? In end of August, I put tomato seeds back in with my seeded some tomato seeds, and they're like 2.5 feet tall now. So I'm getting a whole nother round of tomatoes, and I was like, and everyone's like, you're doing tomatoes now? I was like, we have a long fall, guys. Like, we can do this.
Yeah.
We have a fall. Like, we don't get cold temps till like middle of October, end of October. So I'm like, I'm going for it. I saw my first flower pop on these tomatoes. So I think fall tomatoes is going to be a thing going forward, guys.
I did try to put some new tomato starts out there, actually, that I started in the house, and I could not keep them watered enough and shaded enough for the sun not to just flatten them. And so I said, you know what? I give up.
What I did this year, which I've never done before, only because I'm too lazy this year. I have too much going on, is I just cut mine back. And I'm like, if they live, they live. And you know what? They all popped out, and now they're producing tomatoes again. I'm like, I ignored you.
They will do that.
I stopped watering you, and now you're gonna give me fruit. What's wrong with you?
Like, I'm gonna do it my way.
Maybe they just really wanted a haircut, Josh.
I think so. So back to the drip irrigation question. So when I started planting fruit trees, I thought I gotta have a drip irrigation on everything, and I set up a 250-foot line, drip line with little ring emitters on all my trees. And then I got like
spent some money.
Yeah, it was some money, and it was like 30 trees, And like then I got into like over 100 trees, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. So I ripped it all out and I started planting a different way. And then ever since then, I haven't had to water trees. I watered them the first year, and then I never water them again.
Yeah.
So I'll second that. The first time I had to depend on it was when I put a bunch of in-ground trees in, and then the second year, like the year 2 and 3, I hadn't needed to because they had reached deep enough. And that was a beautiful thing. Well, what did you change in your planting scenario?
So I started digging really wide holes, right?
Okay.
So loosening up really wide, like 5-6 foot wide. I amend with rotted wood on the far outside. I do really thick mulch, and then I raise the tree up higher and then backfill with a secret ingredient I'm not sure I'm ready to share online. I don't know. I'm not sure I should share it.
It's used kitty litter.
Now I
really hope not, by the way.
He's got like 7 cats. That's why I said it.
Yeah.
That would be some I can't say that. No, I use a lot of organic material that I find in the woods, like stump dirt. Have you guys, you know what stump dirt
stump
is?
dirt.
You mentioned this one.
Yeah.
So
I found out something for you.
I will go dig out dead stumps in my woods, and it's the most like loose, like moisture absorbent material you can find. So I sort of backfill with that on the outside. And what happens is the mix of the clay and the organic material, the roots sort of spread outward, and it creates like this spongy material. So it's worked pretty well. So I only water first year, and after that, they've all made it.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, but we all kind of live, besides Des and Audrey. I mean, I think we all live in a, where we're going to get like a couple good rains a month,
Right.
Yeah.
Like where Audrey's at, where Deserae at. I mean, how often are you getting rain over there, Audrey? Like, is it pretty dry?
We just had our first rain last Thursday, I think, and we got like a ½ inch, and that was our first rain since March, maybe. So I mean, it goes like maybe May, but so like definitely June, July, August. It was a guaranteed 3 to 4 months stretch, no rain at all. So like
that's every year.
Everything would die. Yeah, like we couldn't go Josh's route, which would be nice. We definitely have to have something for the trees, but then once it starts raining, usually late in the year or early in the new year, it will usually be pretty consistent all the way through spring, but then summer's dry.
But you just have a dry summer season.
And 100 degrees.
Yeah.
So, like it's like 90s and 100s. This summer was actually really mild for the most part. So that was actually nice. But
it was mild for us too until it wasn't.
Still hot enough that like crops couldn't survive.
Yeah.
Wow.
Are you dependent on snow melt, or do you have well water, or are you
so we have a well here, and like the water is really good in this area, which is nice. It's like the water table's good. We don't have we do have a irrigation ditch that runs like along the border of the property, but we don't have ditch rights to it, so we can't pull water or anything from it.
Got it.
So like even when there is snow melt, it wouldn't matter necessarily for us, except for just filling the ground water basically. But our well is good, and so we're just irrigating.
That's good.
But I am trying to it is always nice to figure out like what are the limits of like how much is enough water and not overwatering. Like still trying to find that balance, even though we have good water. Obviously, it's nice not to waste it. So. I feel like
I think it's the only drawback I can imagine where you are, where everything seems to just grow beautifully. Like I always look at California, I'm like, oh, no wonder everything's grown in California. It just grows so well there.
Yeah, and, it's super funny, like living in this area, which I guess I just like being here my whole life and having a family that farmed. I just realized that like we really are like the food capital of the world. Like so much food is grown in this area for the whole world, not just California. Like all states stuff comes from here. And it's wild to me how many people live in this area and they'll realize like, oh, I'm from your same area. I live like 20 minutes away. I didn't know we could grow a garden here. And I'm like, do you not have eyes? Like there's crops everywhere. Like, where do you think those crops go? And like, it's me being like, just like, how do you not know this? But then I'm like, okay, on the very nice, like passionate side, like, yeah, of course you can grow everything. And then that's, I think, what got me into gardening. So I'm like, even though like the food for the world is grown in this area, you still should grow your own garden because it's like, it's so rewarding and it's a good thing, like being outside. And now having a son, I'm like, I love getting him in the garden and he loves helping.
It's so educational.
And so it's like, it's such a wonderful thing, even though you live in the Central Valley where like right now we could go to the farmer's market or even to the store and things are probably pretty local compared to some states. But there's still no comparison to growing it in your own backyard. And so
100%.
I think that's kind of where like the education part came, because there was just so many people growing up that knew I gardened, and that's kind of how that got to where it was, where they would just ask me like, hey, Audrey, when do you plant tomatoes, and when should I do my pumpkins and whatever? And then I'm like, I'm just going to start writing about this on the blog in hopes that I could turn it into something. Like, I always had the mission to make it a business, so it didn't start really as a hobby, although like I was also trying to teach people that were asking me. I was like, okay, I wrote a post about it, go check the post out. And so, and then it turned into the blog, or turned into the business that it is.
I'm gonna share the link for your website on here.
Oh yes, thank you.
Audrey'sLittleFarm.com.
And you have a cool logo. I love your hats. That's so
thank
cool,
you.
by the way.
So yeah, in the middle
awesome.
of the, I guess that's where the secret part of the cattle ranching part is, because the brand in the middle is my cattle brand. So maybe a lot of people maybe don't know that, but the AL is my cattle brand.
Love it.
We got some questions in the chat. Diana Archer asks, is it too late to plant tomatoes and cucumbers from seed in Houston 9B? I would say it's probably too late to plant from seed. You can still probably put some of that stuff in the ground from a seed start, but you're going to probably have 4 to 6 weeks out is when you'd want to have planted those seeds. Audrey, what is your elevation?
We're basically like nothing. I mean, I know we're not nothing, but we're like 500 feet probably, or something. I mean, less than 1,000 right where we are. But we're really close, like the base of the foothills, we're like right at the bottom. So we could be, to a pretty high elevation pretty quickly. If
but
anyone,
you're not in the Sierra Nevadas or anything like that.
We are.
Not,
we're not like in the hill. So we're at the Sierra foothills. We're right at the base of that. So as soon as you like pass my house, then you're getting into the foothills, and then you could go like to Sequoia National Park, which I'm sure a lot of people maybe listening are. It's like one of the bigger national parks. Which like as soon as you get to the park, you're starting to get to high elevation, but that's still about 45 minutes before you would start climbing.
Gotcha. Let's see. Tanya asked, do you think carrot seed tape and grow bags would work? I know the carrot seed tape works. Grow bags dry out pretty quickly. I don't know that I would do them in the grow bags unless it was a pretty wide grow bag and it was pretty deep grow bag, because you want them to be reaching deep for that water. I'd probably do them in raised beds or in the ground. What do you think, Josh?
Totally. I could not agree more. Carrots need like really deep soil, and grow bags, like you said, they dry out, especially around the edges. Whenever I had grow bags, because I had like a whole garden of grow bags once, my entire backyard, I had like 75 grow bags and containers for trees and stuff. The outsides would dry so quick. It was crazy. Like that's the one thing I didn't like about grow bags. Which is why I do grow bags inside plastic pots for a lot of my trees, because it's sort of the best of both worlds.
Because you get the air prune and you keep the moisture.
Exactly.
Josh, how deep were the 5 foot wide holes? I guess it depends on the tree, huh?
Yeah, it depends on the tree. I mean, pecan trees need really deep, have deep roots. They're a little bit different, but most fruit trees about a foot. That's it. In fact, if you dig it too deep, the tree can settle down lower, which can cause a lot of problems right around the bark where it's forming. So it's better to go higher and let it settle down than it is to go lower. And a lot of people have made that mistake.
In my area where the water doesn't drain out of the soil, it's just clay. There's a lot of people who plant their trees like almost on top of the soil as well. Like they don't even dig a hole. I've done it. My crepe myrtle, I actually did not dig a hole. I just sat it on top, staked it, and because my soil, like literally, if I dug a foot deep hole, filled it with water, came back 2 days later, it's just gonna be filled with water. It's not gonna drain. I've tried to plant so much stuff in the ground, and honestly, it worked out great. I mean, it's a crepe myrtle, but I mean, like hard to kill them, but yeah. Let's see.
They're tough.
So apparently we just brought rain to Montgomery, Alabama, because we've been talking about it. And actually they were talking about, since I was in Alabama and it hadn't rained in like a month or two, and I showed up and guess what happened? It rained. Guess what happened last year when I showed up? It rained. So I am the bringer of rain in Alabama.
Love it.
Oh my goodness. All right. So Josh, what kind of trivia do you have for us tonight, dude? Would you like to get into?
Are we ready for trivia? So, Audrey, just to give you a little heads up, so we normally do a trivia, and it's like name that plant, or we did a name that tool, and I bring out something like a bucket of stuff, and we talk about it. But I've been trying to change it up lately, and so this one is actually about plant terminology. So it's a little bit more like expert level. So I hope y'all are ready for this. Y'all ready
We're not.
for
And just a
Okay.
heads up, we like to let people in the chat answer first. On Instagram, there's a little bit of a lag, so we'll give it a little bit extra time. But yeah, let people answer in the chat before we shout it out, even though I'll definitely be wrong.
And I'll try to start with the easier ones first. Okay. All right, Phil, you can't answer this one. Whenever you're
It's a fig.
this form of propagation induces roots on a branch while it's still attached to the parent plant. So it's a form of propagation.
I understand why.
Nobody?
I
One more
mean, I
time.
know.
No, one more time, Josh. Yeah.
Got it in the
So-
chat.
Oh, we
So
got
we-
it in the chat. I mean, they're pros in this chat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So Mulberry got it. Mulberry Corners got it here, and then JBPB8484 got it on Instagram. So
Mhm.
Phil, can you tell us, since you're an air layer expert, can you tell us a little bit about Destin? You're an air layer expert too. I've seen your videos on it.
I've done a lot of it. I've only had a couple of successes though because it's so dry.
It's one of my favorite ways to propagate, especially fig trees. And you can do it with citrus. You can do it with like, so many varieties. But I'm a big proponent of the girdling, which just means I'm scoring and removing the top layer of bark down to the cambium layer. And that is where there's like natural root hormones. You can even use, I use a paintbrush if you want to put on some sort of rooting hormone. And then I wrap it, because you're hedging yourself for success by doing that. And then I wrap it in soil. You can either use one of those like cups, or they have things you can buy. You can take a quart Ziploc bag with soil, cut it right down the middle. So when you open it up, it actually wraps around the entire thing. Cover it up, zip tie it, tinfoil, tinfoil is there to block out the sun. That's about it. Try to do it at warm temps. And I'll tell you what, those roots look good.
How long does it have to be in there before you get good roots?
A
Just
month.
curious.
Oh yeah, a month. Because here's the win-win of doing this. It's a propagation method, so you're getting root development, but you're still getting nutrients fed to the branch from the mother tree. And so you're really kind of like also hedging your success for propagation by doing it this way too. The only downside is that what you're often air layering is a larger plant, essentially. When I do fig cuttings, I can do them as short as like 6 inches with 3-4 nodes. But when I do like 1.5 foot branch, I mean, it's a beautiful. I just pulled off 3 Col de Dame Blancs and a Col de Dame Gris, and I'm like, is this real life right now? So it's just an awesome propagation method.
Figs are easy though.
Oh my goodness.
People in the chat might not like you saying that, but there's that because it depends on the fig variety. What was I going to say? But it's also like ground layering, right? If anyone's ever tried that with just a rock and bending a branch down.
Yeah, I did that. I did a video.
Yeah.
It's so easy to do that.
So easy. I did that.
Unless you're
year.
root knot nematode, then don't do it.
All right, Audrey, you can't answer this next one, but I'm hoping you can weigh in after everybody else guesses it, because I did watch some of your recent videos on this topic. A little hint there.
California raisins.
So
If you rehydrate them,
If I get one of these times.
what popular 80s music videos features grapes dancing? No, just kidding. I heard it through the grapevine. No, this is something that you're going to add to the root area of your plants to help boost the colonization of roots, enhance nutrient and water uptake. It's an additive that a lot of people skip. It's quite beneficial. And it's a hint, it's not fertilizer, y'all, or a fish, or a banana peel.
definitely not a banana.
All right. Has anybody gotten it yet?
I see like rooting hormone. I was thinking.
No. Okay. All right. And then
is it trace minerals?
No. All right.
I was thinking.
It's a type of. Go ahead, Des.
I was gonna say, is it mycorrhiza? Is it?
There you go.
You got it.
There you go.
I did it.
Audrey, you did some videos on that. Tell us a little bit about, I can never pronounce it right, mycorrhizal.
I know. I was in my reel doing it, and I was like, I didn't even do the talking. I just did the text on screen because I was like, I don't know how to say this. Mycorrhizal fungi, I think.
That's it.
I don't know how to.
Yeah.
I think that's okay.
Mycorrhizal fungi. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it fungi or fungi? That's
I
what
say fungi, but I think
Okay.
it just depends on
Here in America,
Tomato,
we say
potato.
fungi.
potato,
We're
potato.
a bunch of
Yeah.
fungi here.
So it was actually my first season using it, and it's always hard to tell because it's like people want to argue and be like, well, it could have just been the weather and it could have just been XYZ, and like it didn't really help. But I will say that I planted my tomatoes like a good 2 to 3, probably 3 weeks. Well, we'll just say 2, just in case. 2 to 3 weeks later than I did last year, and I got a harvest on the same exact week. So I do think like the plant established much quicker, and like obviously that's not a lot, but 2 to 3 weeks can be a lot if you're like waiting for your first fresh tomato, you know?
Yeah.
So I planted, I want to say it might have been like mid-April last year or like early May. And it was like a good 2 to 3 weeks later. Cause I try to take pictures, and like, I'm really bad about the blog posts and the videos that always tell everything I'm doing, but I have like this backlog of like all this cool info. And so when it came time to doing that video of using the mycorrhizal fungi, I had like exact results of like, okay, on like this day I harvested my first tomato, and then I went back to last year and it was the same day, and then planting day was pushed further. So I think it made a really good difference, and weather was very similar. Like our spring last year and our spring this year was mild. It wasn't hot. So I would say all conditions were the same, and that was the only difference. So I think it really worked. Yeah. The plants definitely seemed like they like took off and had great root growth.
It's definitely the new buzzword that everybody's got in their either fertilizer or like we have a transplant mix, helps with transplant shock. It's called Genesis, and it has mycorrhizal fungi, agricultural molasses, folic acid, stuff like that. And so it's helps with like transplant shock. So like what you were saying, like helping with building those roots and nutrient uptake and stuff like that, and helping with the shock for sure. And it's definitely beneficial. And there's also like existing mycorrhizal fungi in the soil as well. You're just adding more. So it's kind of a weird thing. It's.
I mean, they say it's like the super information. It's kind of like the information super highway for like trees and stuff, because it transports like sugar and stuff between organisms within the soil. It's like a really cool thing.
It's like the Navi.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
I'm pretty sure Al Gore based the internet off of
yeah, he did.
Mycelium.
Actually, that's a thing though.
I'll see y'all later.
Like,
No.
talking about that.
Wait, are we getting into global warming?
Always.
Well, if you watch
Wait,
Convenient
what?
Truth by Al Gore,
The next answer is man bear pig.
But but there's something totally true about that. Mycorrhiza, I associate it with like your gut bacteria and how it communicates, absorb stuff out of nutrients. And obviously the bean people out there know that beans use bacteria versus mycorrhizae, which I thought was really interesting. But it's clutch on that nutrient uptake.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm gonna test it out for the first time because I got some from Bigfoot mycorrhizal, and I'm pretty excited about it. Plus, they have the coolest logos and artwork on their stuff, which is really important to me.
I was just in Bigfoot country.
Tanner does a lot of work with them, so yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Are we ready for the next one?
Yeah.
I think so.
All right, Des,
lay it on us.
Des, you cannot answer this one before everybody else, even though I know it's one of your favorite words to say.
Oh, is it?
So don't give it away.
Is it Master Gardener?
No.
No. Okay. So everybody loves tomato plants, but sometimes you bury your tomato plants a little bit deeper because these types of roots can arise from non-root tissues like stems, nodes, and even leaves. What type of roots are these? I know you're just holding it back right now, Des.
Yeah. Also, we were just like talking about this in horticulture this week, so.
Anybody
know what type of roots form on tomato?
Bowtie got it.
Bowtie got it.
Oh, Dave got it. Hey, here's a
adventitious roots, guys.
Here's a
talking about them all the time.
Here's a fun
I didn't know
trivia,
that.
question about bow tie Dave. That's why they call him bow tie life, because he wears bow ties everywhere.
Yeah,
I met him
everywhere,
over in Alabama.
literally.
Yes, shout out to Dave.
And suspenders. I've seen his channel.
Yes, yes,
Not just bow ties. He is the full look. So
yes.
Yeah.
I love it. I cannot. I
Tell us
can't
about
remember words like that.
Tell us about adventitious. Besides, it's a fun word to say. What is it?
Don't lay this on me. It's been a long day. Adventitious roots are like roots that they can, like, just exactly what Josh said. They can grow along the stem. They can grow on other tissue that's not like ground root tissue. You can use them to propagate with, like, I don't know. My brain is not working right.
So would air roots, like on a strangler fig, would those be adventitious roots as well? Even like, so they're growing like air roots in the air?
No, because that would be more like if it's a strangler fig, that's more like an air root, like an aeroid, like an air root coming down from the air to the ground.
And maybe I was thinking is maybe it's one of those things. It's like not all adventitious roots are air roots, but all air roots are adventitious roots. I maybe need to look that up.
Maybe.
I'll Google it. Next question.
Unless it needs ground contact.
All right, Phil, you can't answer this one, but this is the plant hormone that's found at the end, the tip of branches that cause it to promote elongation.
That's a good one.
So it is actually a plant hormone that causes it to promote elongate. What are you rocking?
You just flip the track, DJ, onto a new tune that you're jamming out to? What's going on?
It's just every once in a while I'm right. Yes. I was right. Boom.
All right. Air roots.
According to
Anybody
Google
know
AI.
what this plant hormone is that causes plants to grow out of the tips of the branches?
It's
Oh, I
colloidal
think
silver, right?
I'll give everybody a hint. It starts with an A.
Oh, that was not going to be the one I was going to say.
Oh man, I don't know this one. Is that right?
Phil knows it. Phil's just waiting.
I am waiting. Bow tie called it. I did say a few.
It's really close to the city that Des lives in.
I like that. That's so good.
All
Nope,
right, Phil,
I can't do it.
Tell us,
Oxen.
Oh, you know what?
How do you spell it?
Auxin.
Yeah, sorry.
Not to be confused with Austin.
And so what I had learned about, and I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. And I apply it towards air layering too, is the highest branches have the most auxin in them. And it terminates at the tip of wherever you cut it from. So then the next highest level of auxin, and it'll push all its growth to the top, kind of with the intention of growing upwards towards the sun. Hey, look at that, towards the sun.
God, I love Google.
But did you not think I knew what you googly was?
Well, could you imagine what it was like back in the day when you had to like go to find like an encyclopedia like collection to find some information? Like,
I don't know if this is good, but I'm old enough to remember going to the card catalog and sifting through the cards to find the library book, or going and putting it into the microfiche. So literally, I
never used a microfiche, but I did use a Dewey Decimal System.
Also, if you're in an academic setting, sometimes you do need to cite scientific papers.
That's me right now, guys.
Yeah, Google Scholar, so you can find the publication of
me
and cite.
Hello, that's me right now. That is my entire life.
These were going to get harder, so Des, if you don't know them now, they're going to be on your final exam. Okay.
Well, actually, this week we were talking about auxin. We were talking about adventitious roots. We were talking about like literally we're doing. It's a lot right now, guys.
Well, it sounds like a lot of green flags are exactly where you want to be, which is pretty rad.
Yes, but it's
But you're drinking information out of a fire hose for the next 4 years. Just heads up.
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Literally.
All right, I think somebody might get this one, but I'm not sure. Like I said, they get harder as they go. But this is a term used for vegetables and other fruit setting varieties that are bred to set fruit without pollination. And they're useful in low pollinator environments such as greenhouses, where you don't have the presence of pollinators, but you still want to set fruit. What is the term used for these?
Does it start with a C?
No.
Really?
Does it start with an S?
No.
I thought it was gonna be Parthic.
That's really it's really close. Phil got it. Dang. Y'all
What did Phil say?
You said it's parthenocarpic.
Oh, what did I say?
Parthenopathic.
Oh, I'm just stupid. I said the wrong word. Someone typed Catherine.
That's okay. Earlier when he was talking about the elongating root, I was thinking oxen, but with an O and not with an A, because that's how tired I am. And so I died laughing.
It sounds like
because
ox,
I
like
was
a blue ox.
oh my God.
Dude,
Okay.
I have some new form of like dyslexia that they haven't like diagnosed yet. Like
it sounds like standard phonetic dyslexia.
R's or fives and R's. I get them mixed up sometimes.
When I was a kid, I used to call it Paschetti instead of spaghetti. It works itself out.
You got the basic gist of it, but that was really funny. I see. Yeah, so parthenocarpic, my master gardener professor taught me about this, that he always gets this for his squash plants to increase the yield, because then you get more pollination that way. You get more yield in smaller spaces. So if you're in raised beds, look for parthenocarpic varieties of squash.
Millennial Gardener had a cucumber variety that was that. It was called like Merlin or something.
Yeah, most.
Or maybe it was Merlin cucumber. Is that right? Anyway. Audrey, welcome to the garden party.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird.
Josh, I feel like I'm going to give you the duty of doing trivia during the summit. We have a lot of good trivia questions.
Actually, Audrey, do you want to talk about the summit a little bit?
Yeah,
tell us about it. Give us the spiel.
Yeah, so we actually have new speakers this year. Phil is one of them. So let's see. This will be the third Spring Gardening Summit. It is coming the last week of February in 2026. So the first event was February of 2024. I think, Josh, you first joined maybe in August of 24, and then you've been at the event ever since. So it's a great event. We get usually anywhere from 15 to 25 speakers teaching on all kinds of things. It's for like gardeners of every level. So it always makes me like a little bit like, I guess I'm saying it now for anyone who watches now or later. It's literally for like gardeners of every level. There's like beginner things that nobody would, or that everyone might know, but beginners need to know. But then there's more advanced topics that people teach on. So we have everything from some fruit presentations. We have gardening basics. We have some herbal things, preservation, just a little bit of everything. And I am mixing in this year. I guess I didn't even really tell what it was. So it's called the Spring Gardening Summit, and it's this online free event. So anyone listening, anyone can join. It's a 4-day long event, the last week of February. And basically just to get gardening out to the world. It's a fun event to get a lot of people together. Everyone interacts. There's a free Facebook group for everyone to ask questions and connect with speakers. So anyway, that's the gist of it, but it's a really fun time. And we have, I think we have like 7 to 10 new speakers maybe this year. So if you've been at past events, there's new people that you probably haven't heard of this year.
That's so cool.
And you get a really big turnout. I mean, the Facebook group like blew up when I was in there.
Yeah. So it's so funny because it starts off like, okay, I can keep up with all of this. And then I just like, okay, I can't talk to anybody anymore because it turns into this crazy crowd, which is great because everyone starts talking to each other. And, but it gets wild. This last year, there was 14,000 people signed up. And,
wow.
And so I'm like, I need like a team during that week, but I don't have one. And so it just like, I'm like, okay, everyone, I'm here, but I can't respond to you.
It's hard to find to all of it. And it's impossible.
Yeah. But anyway, it's a really fun week. But Josh, somebody just said, I forget who I was talking to the other day. Someone said, I think it was one of the other speakers, actually. Her and I were having a chat of like what her presentation should be about. And she was like, is Josh coming again? He's always so so helpful in the Facebook group. And I'm like, yeah, thank goodness, because I can't keep up. But Josh, you're always like in there, like asking questions and doing trivia stuff. So I'm like, thank goodness.
I can't get enough plant trivia.
He saves us.
I love it.
So he is a lifesaver.
I'm gonna call Josh whenever I need him to like get me some flashcards or something going for my studying.
There you go.
Oh, that would be his bread and butter.
We'll both learn stuff.
Me and ChatGPT could get on that for you.
Great.
All right, this one's a tough one. I don't think anybody's going to get this. If somebody gets it, I would be so impressed. But this is a traditional European forestry and orchard management technique. And it's a specialized pruning technique where the upper branches of a tree are cut back to a certain height above the ground to encourage a flush of new shoots. Historically, it was used to provide fodder for livestock, firewood, even construction materials, because it puts out vigorous new growth out of these pruning methods. Sometimes you might see it in urban areas. I recently saw it at the Bartlett Tree Experts here in Charlotte, North Carolina, where they were experimenting with this traditional method of pruning. It looks crazy and it's centuries old. What is this method of pruning?
Oh my gosh.
I want to feel like G&G is on the right track, but with the wrong spelling. But
I was going to say
know.
bow tie.
This one's a tough one. I'm going full expert. I learned about it this last year, and it was wild looking.
It sounds like just regenerative pruning.
Sounds like
it's like not espalier.
Nope, it's not espalier. No, so it's not. That is also another ancient form of pruning.
That's like selective pruning, like on a trellis.
Yeah.
What? And it's not coppicing?
Nope. Coppicing is where you cut it back down to the ground to encourage new growth, but it's really close to that.
It's a fancy term. It's a fancy.
I'm just reading from the chat, guys. All right, give it to us.
Destin, your audio is really low, by the way.
Yeah, I just messaged you.
It's like cutting real low.
How about now?
A little better.
A little better.
Yeah, it was.
Mulberry got it. Mulberry totally got it.
Pollarding.
Mulberry.
Pollarding.
Good job.
Destin, you need to search pollarding and show us all what it looks like, because it is the wildest way to prune a tree. And like I said, I saw it for the first time. I was like, what is that? On the screen. I want to see who would do that? What was cool about it is it produces all these young, vigorous shoots. So they would use them for like building fence materials, because they'd shoot like 6 foot up in the air on the edges of the trees. Look at it.
Oh, that does look so wacky.
I call them those green bean trees, you know what I'm talking about? In like chateaus in like Loire Valley, which sounds so bougie now that I said that out loud. But
it freaks me out a little. I don't know that I like it.
They do a bunch of like kind of weird things. Like, have you seen like they have like hedge experts? They take trees and like braid them into like natural fences. Like they have competitions and stuff. Have you seen that before?
No.
They did it on Clarkson's farm. It's really interesting.
Yeah. Also, Destin, I think your mic's like off.
No way.
Like I can hear you,
You're
but you sound very far away. But this is something out of one of the Mario video games. Is this pollarding technique, and I can't get over it. I've seen it before, and I wonder. It doesn't sound like. Is it functional for fruiting trees? It seems more like an ornamental thing.
You could do it for fruiting trees that fruit on new growth. So it would be tough. Not a lot of fruit trees do that.
Maybe like a mulberry tree.
A mulberry tree would be good with
I think that would be a good fit, actually.
Yep.
But
is
that it? Was that the final what?
Mulberry Corners has the insight on it. Look at that. We need to highlight
that.
Nope,
the mulberries thrive on it, and when you do not. Wow.
I'm totally going to do it to my mulberry tree.
I'm doing it to mine.
My mulberry trees are just standing out there on my neighbor's fence line doing great. They produce a ton.
In fact, figs are in the
trees like
mulberry family. The greater mulberry family figs are.
They do have similar leaf shapes.
Yeah, this is kind of how I prune my figs. I mean, before I freeze, this is kind of how I prune my figs. I mean, I cut them back hard. Oh, this is what I was talking about, though. Have y'all seen these living fences? They literally take trees that are in the ground and like this.
Yeah, it's so cool.
That is just.
I love it.
Josh, you should definitely try to do this, Josh.
I would love to do that. As it's a very
called a
European
wattle fence, right?
I see that in your future, Josh.
I mean, sure, why not, right?
Just something like this will be cool, like kind of a cool idea, especially like a living fence for like rabbits and stuff and your cats to live in, you know?
Yeah.
Josh just sounds like he's living the dream sometimes from like an outdoor guy perspective. He's like, I'm going to go into the woods and find this.
Dustin was really like for your rabbits and your cats to live in.
Have rabbits.
I have seen these willow structures. That would be a cool. Josh, if you have some free space, have you seen that? Well,
I have seen that. I've seen that in person, and it's crazy looking. It's the coolest. Yeah, it's like a gazebo made of living trees.
It's amazing.
So cool.
It feels like Middle Earth to me.
Very Middle Earth.
Yes.
I love it.
All right, maybe we'll take it down a notch with a little bit easier one. I'm just starting to get a little bit over the top here, but this is a plant hormone that's responsible for ripening tomatoes and other types of fruit. In fact, a lot of people will put bananas in paper bags with their fruit because this gas emits from the bananas at high rates and can help accelerate the ripening process. What is this gas?
Is it leaded or unleaded? Is it ethanol free? So you can put it in your boats and your motor?
Depends on the state.
Once we hit an hour in, we just get real kooky, Audrey. I'm just warning you.
It's a noble gas. No. I think Bowtie got it.
Bowtie got it. Yeah. Although I'm not sure that's the correct spelling, but it's close. Yeah,
I think it's got a Y in it.
Well, ethylene gas is
Y.
Like
alcohol, right? Audrey, you have a ton of tomatoes. In fact, I'm so jealous of your tomato. Like, how do you ripen these, or do they just ripen perfectly outside with no pest problems because you're in the perfect growing climate?
I feel like we are in the perfect tomato growing zone, which I actually think they grow tomatoes commercially, like not too far from us. So we are definitely in good tomato country. But I don't have blight. I don't have pest problems. Like, tomatoes are just killer in this area. So I will say definitely, like, I stick with mostly hybrid varieties because heirlooms are just in general harder to grow no matter where you are, I think. There was one year when I was like convinced, like, I'm going to grow only heirlooms. And I think I got like 5 tomatoes. Like, they just did not produce good at all. And so I still do grow a few heirlooms that tend to do good, or at least if they don't do good, I have plenty of hybrids to have plenty of tomatoes. Because in my opinion, like, a fresh tomato, whether it's a hybrid or heirloom, is still so much better than a store-bought, obviously. So I grow lots of hybrids that grow great through the heat, and then a few heirlooms. But I don't have any trick. Like, I put a little bit of compost down at the beginning of the season. I don't fertilize. I just have everything on like individual emitters, and I drip or they're individual emitters, but it's like basically like drip irrigation kind of. So I just water usually like every second to third day for about a 20-minute stretch, and that's about it. And so I feel like I don't have a secret, because everyone's always like, what fertilizer do you use? And what do you do for this and this? And I'm like, I literally I plant usually in early May-ish, late April to mid-May. And then, and that's it.
It probably has to do with it probably has a lot to do with you not getting much rain and that very low humidity.
Yes.
And you just doing drip irrigation. That probably has a lot to do with your fungal issues, not having any of that, the blight, any of that, because you're just doing that drip irrigation. You're not getting any rain. So that's probably most of what has to do with it.
Because even in like I did like I'll do pictures and little video clips, all throughout the season, like when tomatoes are green and when they're ripening and when things are coming on and off. And we get fruit ripening all year long. So, or not all year long, I shouldn't say that, but like all spring, from June all the way through November till our first frost comes. Tomatoes are still ripening. So I know a lot of people usually in like July and August, they say their fruit won't set, but for us, it will, it doesn't matter if it's green or like almost red, like everything just keeps happening all season long. And so, but we have what's really nice is even though we might get to 105 during the day, it will still cool off to usually low 70s, high 60s at night. So we always drop down, and so I think that really helps too. So it's like the low humidity, and then also we have cool nights, and so the temperature isn't staying so high where the pollen can't set.
Yeah.
So
It
I
stays
guess
like in the 90s overnight here, and the humidity is high in Austin.
We never I don't even know if in my whole life we've stayed in the 90s or even high 80s overnight. Like it for sure drops to like below 80.
Wow.
Lucky. It does not do that here all the time.
So
I went outside night before last. It was like soup. No rain, but it was
now because like
so
you
hot.
talk about very limited pests. Why is that? It's just because there's no water source, or
I think it's just, well, I shouldn't say no pests on anything. So we just don't have tomato pests, which I guess, the main pest for tomatoes would be your tomato hornworm, but which occasionally that seems to go like year by year. So it seems to be I don't know if it's at every few years thing, because a few years back we had a lot of them, and like friends of mine that garden in the area, they had lots of tomato hornworms, but then it seems like the last couple of years we've not really had any. But as far as other pests go, I will say like my garden just in general has gotten better, but I know people in the same area have pest issues, but I've made a big point to like incorporate lots of like interplanting. So instead of keeping everything in one, besides my tomato row, like the tomato row is all tomatoes, but everything else, instead of doing like all of one crop, I try to do like switch things up. So I'll do a squash plant and then a pepper and then basil and then marigolds and then I don't know, I'm like naming things off, tomatillos. Like I try to mix everything up. So
yeah,
that's helped a lot with the pest issues, I think. And then we haven't sprayed, which I used to actually, what's funny, I used to not be against spraying necessarily. I thought like, oh, like I'll just like spray the bad bugs when I see them. But I quit doing that. And so that definitely, I could see like a significant difference once I quit spraying, because then I'm not killing the beneficial insects. But I can't prove it. I'm like, I also like at the same time started interplanting better and just like incorporating overall better practices, I think. So pest issues have gotten better.
I know if anybody goes to like a nursery and they buy ladybugs, like at a nursery, a lot of them come from California. Do y'all get those like swarms like ladybugs trying to get in y'all's house? I've seen like where people have like ladybugs trying to get like covering the entire side of their house.
I have never had that, but I mean, I guess I don't want them to try to come in my house, but
yeah,
I've never seen that. Like, I don't feel like I actually get enough ladybugs. Probably, like, if anything, I'd want to like attract more of them. But for me personally, that's not an issue.
Yeah, no. The first like viral video I had on TikTok was like me releasing like 2,500 ladybugs in my garden, and like all the comments were people from California saying I was poaching ladybugs from their woods. And so it was the wildest stuff. And so like I assumed like y'all had ladybugs like roaming around. Apparently they're going extinct. So maybe it is a problem.
Yeah, I don't know. I would like to see like where it is, but I don't know. I have not had that.
Interesting. Well, I think the question Phil's, I'm gonna beat Phil to the punch, is how many fig trees do you have?
I actually don't have any, so I need to plant. I need to plant them. So when I was little, when I was talking about how we like started that little family orchard, that we took like one of everything that was out on the property and like we made our own little orchard, we had a fig tree, and we have now like since like pushed a bunch of those out. And I don't know why, if they were like, which I'm guessing, well, I guess this is a question. How old is an old fig tree, or will they keep producing basically forever?
That's a good question.
Going. There's some really beautiful old fig trees that 80, 90 plus. If you take good care of them, they live in a climate that's very Mediterranean-esque, like a climate like yourself.
Yeah. Okay. So we had a fig tree, and I don't know why it got pushed out then. I was assuming like maybe because it was not producing well, but I know they also were like clearing out the area for some other stuff. But anyway, it could have stayed. So my plan is now to plant again. But Josh, I remember last year I came onto your workshop when you did the pruning stuff, and you helped me prune my apple tree. Well, since then, both of my apple trees and a peach tree were killed by gophers. And I'm so devastated. So yeah, and they were old, not old, but like they were like just finally approaching their first good year. And
start over. How did gophers kill your trees? Like how did that happen?
They just ate the roots off, which they were not little trees. Like I think I planted 2 winters ago, but the apple trees were already like huge potted apple trees. Like I planted them probably at like, I don't actually know what the age would have been, but they weren't just bare root apples. Like they were already quite a bit older when I planted them. and the gophers just literally ate the roots off both of the trees, and they were just like tipped over, dead as could be.
That
I
is
guess
the saddest thing I've ever heard. And I've heard about gophers out west because we don't really have gophers here. We have other type voles are the issues here. But
Voles are rough.
They're sort of similar. I guess that's why people do gopher baskets, which is what I've heard when you plant trees in those areas. Some people do a big stainless steel hardware cloth mesh basket around the root zone, which seems extreme to me. But now that you're saying that, I didn't think they could take out an established tree.
That's what I was thinking.
I guess they're probably looking for moisture anywhere when it's that dry. They're just trying to get moisture and some kind of nutrition, you know, from somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's odd is like, I feel like the commercial trees, because we still have 4 rows of like apricots, peaches, nectarines. I'm trying to think what else, but they're all like the old trees that initially were here on the ranch, and we still have those 4 rows still in the ground, and none of those have been killed off. So I'm like, why did the gopher have to go to my garden? The garden is like
really
not that
healthy
far from that.
too. I remember that apple tree being like, man, that one's really looking good. So
yeah, so I'm like kind of contemplating. I want to replant, but I'm also thinking maybe I should switch the area. Like, I don't know, go back to like the old place where we used to have all the trees that survive forever. And so
it's an idea. I mean,
yeah, where the trees were specifically, like I've never planted fruit trees have never been planted in that area. So maybe it's like gopher zone. I don't know.
Do you have like gopher holes all over the place, like little tunnels?
Not like crazy. No. This was literally the first year that anything. I haven't on the where the fruit trees were is right near where the garden is, and even in the garden I don't have bad gophers. So I'm just kind of thinking like maybe it might just be that area, but I don't know why they're not coming up in the garden and only in the fruit trees, because it's like within like 20 feet of where my tomatoes are.
Really?
So it's very odd.
I've seen the video. I don't know if he's in California or not. It'd be hard to believe he'd be in California, because there's a guy that goes like, I don't know if it's his orchard or if he does a service, but he has like the gopher holes, and he takes like looks like a propane torch, and so he shoots like propane down into the holes, and then he sparks it, and the whole tunnel, it's crazy. Like it explodes, and you see
the face that Des is making right now.
Yeah.
Do you want to keep torturing her right now?
There's rats.
Oh,
I've seen them where they take the giant vacuum thing and they suck them out of the holes. And then they relocate
better.
They relocate them. I've seen
that sounds like groundhogs up in Pennsylvania where I grew up. Same deal.
Yeah.
So back to the fig though. Is there any that can grow well like in a pot? So
almost all of them. Like actually, I think it's a misnomer. If you hear about like, oh, this is a dwarf fig tree, I would actually say that they will grow to the size of the container that they're in, and you can actually dwarf them in a bonsai format, technically, if you will. So pick your favorite fig and grow it in a container. Create some scaffolding.
Get a pretty good harvest off of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Like my mom has a 7-year-old fig tree, over 8 years old now, that she gets like 50 plus figs off of, and it's just perfect for her on her patio. Okay. And it's awesome. I have one, my Ponte Tresa here. If you look at any of my recent videos, like I picked one and I just have like a bowl of figs from it. Everyone comes out and has a fig off of it, and it's 3.5 feet tall, and it's 4 years old, and it just how it spreads out nicely. And it looks beautiful, you know, they're trees of antiquity for sure.
Yeah. And then next question, when do you, like, if I planted one this year, how long till I could probably get the first like 5 pieces of fruit?
This year?
If you're planting a fig tree, say it's 2.5 feet tall, like you went and got one at the start, you will have fruit next year.
Okay. See, that's the kind of fruit that I like. And that's why I was so mad about the apples and the peaches. It's like, it takes so long to get a really good harvest from most of your fruit. And so I finally,
look for pollinators and stuff. Like figs are self-ripening parthenocarpic ones. If you want to get a male capra fig, you're in the zone for it. So you can, if you want, and hopefully a colony of fig wasps will come and caprify your fig, but you don't need that. There's so many good varieties out there.
Yeah. I'll message you on Instagram, or I'll email you and ask like what varieties, because figs are actually like fruit in general. What's funny, like I grew up with like all the commercial farming, but I feel like my expertise is definitely like with the vegetables and the herbs, and the fruits. I'm like, I grew up with it, but they were already all planted. Like I didn't have the say, and it was all commercial farming, which is a lot different than the home garden. So I'm like now wanting to add a bunch of stuff back in. And then my son loves all the fruits. So I'm like, I want a little bit of everything, but now I have to start over with the apples and everything. But figs are a quick win, so I'm definitely adding them.
They're a quick win. They're such a gateway fruit tree, I think. Would you agree,
Yeah.
Josh?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are the apples completely dead or are they like almost dead?
Oh, like I just thought I thought I had a disease and I was like, what is going on? And I'm like, maybe it just really needs water. I'm like, thought like the emitters were clogged or something, but I'm like, no, it's getting watered. And I went to like touch it and it just fell over, like no roots. The whole thing just like popped right out of the ground. And it was a big tree. I mean, it was a fairly big tree and it just like popped out.
I'm
And
so
then,
sorry.
like I don't know, 2 months later, maybe the other one started looking similar. And I'm like, no, you have to be kidding me. And it like, I went and touched it and it just like,
Oh my God.
No.
Devastating.
So I'm like, okay, let's figure out how to kill the gophers.
I think
which
you need to try the gopher baskets. I think you need to
Yeah.
look at they're like chicken wire. You can buy them in a roll. You put them in the ground, a couple feet down, and you like a big round thing.
Yeah.
But it's a pain. It's a huge pain to put in.
Oh,
Probably the worst thing you could do is put out poison though, because
Yeah.
I heard some like the California condors. One of the worst things that's happening is not from hunters. It's from them eating like rats or pests that have eaten like some kind of poison, and then they eat that, and it kills them. I actually
Rodenticides kill
yes,
squirrels and rats and owls and hawks and
foxes, yeah,
and foxes and all kinds of animals. So please
but
don't do it.
But Google Rodinator, and that's a very poison-free way to get rid of gophers. Rodinator. It's actually a pretty wild video. I cannot show it on the live, but it's not. It's get a sponsorship.
You could get an owl box and encourage owls to nest. That's another thing I'm saying.
I was thinking that. I'm like,
but you have a cat though too, right? And I worry about my cat
our
with owls.
2 best cats got killed off the last few months too. So that's probably maybe part of it.
What happened to your cats?
We don't know for sure. We have like lots of coyotes out here. But we just started recently seeing a bobcat that was showing up, and we're thinking it was definitely him because we don't ever see bobcats out here. And then like within a month of seeing him, both of our cats died.
Y'all probably have some mountain lions in the area too, I would imagine, like kind of like near the mountains.
We have such an overpopulation, like it's horrible. I have not personally seen them here, like at our house, but in the town, like local people saw them literally in like their neighborhood, which is not good.
And house pets are like easy targets for coyotes and mountain lions and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I'm sure they've like people that live like close by to us have seen them in this area, but I haven't personally seen one. Which I'm like, every time I'm like going walking, I'm always like feel like there's like one like up in the tree, like looking down.
Yeah,
because there's
they were
like
always
crazy
watching.
overpopulation. Yeah,
the noises they make, it's insane. Those bobcats, and it is. Oh my!
We
God,
were
it's
out
terrifying.
when we were in Washington. My husband noticed a sign that said that a mountain lion had been spotted in the area, and we were walking through this totally mountain lion colored field of grass. And I never saw that sign. And he was like, "Oh, by the way, did you see?" And I was like, "No," but we were probably being watched the whole time, Jeremy. You have to tell me this stuff.
Have you ever heard a mountain lion in person? Like the scream that they do?
Yeah, that sounds kind of like a baby in a way. And doesn't it? It's like,
so I just heard it for the first time like a month or so ago. My family has a cabin up in like the Sequoia like mountains, or Sequoia. Sorry, I'm thinking of Sequoia National Park, but like the Sierra Nevada mountains. There's a little area called Mineral King, and our family has a cabin up there. And in the middle of the night, like 3 a.m., my husband and I both woke up, and I'm like, "What is that noise?" And he's like, "That's a mountain lion. You've never heard it?" And I'm like, "No." And it sounds like a scream, like a woman out
like
in the
that.
forest screaming. And it went on for like 10 minutes straight. But the creepiest, like scariest sound.
yes, so creepy.
Oh, jeez.
That's
So
terrifying.
yeah, not a fan.
Yeah.
We get a lot of wild coyote sounds here, and it's the yipping. It's like they must catch something, and it's just the weirdest, creepiest sound.
I love them. I love the sound of coyotes. Yeah.
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 Yeah, I wouldn't want to hear that while hiking in the woods for sure.
Yeah. In the middle of the night, Totally chill.
Yeah.
Nothing
Nope,
to worry
I'm
about.
out. I'm out.
Not at all nightmare fuel. Totally fine.
Dude, I was out in the middle of the woods in Alabama. Like I was staying like I was in a place like in the middle of Alabama. There was hardly any people, and I was out like 20 miles away from everybody else. Like it was wild. I was like, man, this is so quiet. It is so peaceful. I went on a nature trail. It was like so nice. But like every time you heard anything, it was like, oh wow. And then I thought about it, I was like, this is the longest I've been outside without my AirPods on. And I think like 10 years. Like it was so weird, man. It was so weird.
You got to look out for like those places that, you need to be saying, hey bear, or like listening for mountain lions.
I think they have black bears in Alabama.
Yeah, they do.
I'll Google
it. They do in Florida.
Yeah, they 100% do. There's a lot of
All
black
right.
bears all over America. Anyway,
black bears in
this
Texas.
is depressing me. Let's get back to gardening.
Yes.
thank you.
Scary
So-
sounds and dead animals and fruit trees. Can we please move on?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Full
close to Halloween.
circle,
It's not our
Audrey,
spooky
I'm happy
episode
to talk
yet.
to you about propagating fig trees and fig trees. I got you
Yes.
back.
Well, and I wonder if your old fig tree on the property was a parthenocarpic, or in California they have a lot of like figs that have to be pollinated. So it could have been, it could have been one of those varieties over there in California because y'all do have the fig wasp. I think because I think Dave and them are kind of in that area. Well, they're up towards like Sacramento, I think. But he was saying there's like not native, but there's fig wasp in his area. So I guess you probably would have like a wasp that would pollinate yours for you.
Okay.
I mean, Profig's in Fresno area.
Yeah,
No,
that's
no.
the same climate as us. That's an hour or so from us.
Oh,
or
gotcha.
45 minutes. Yeah. I went to Fresno State, so it was like a 45-minute drive.
Oh, there you
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Profig's in San Diego and Fig Hunters in like Sacramento.
go.
Well, Profig
Profig's
was in
in
Fresno because
area.
he was a speaker at the summit a couple years back.
Oh, okay. I thought he was. I don't know why I thought he was in San Diego for some reason.
Unless he was like, he could have moved. I don't know. But I know now currently he's in Fresno.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, good for him. Yeah. No, that's awesome. It's hard. Y'all state is very large.
Yes.
I found that out. Yeah. Found that out a couple years ago. Yes. Listening to Destin try to say Cartheno Park. You spelled it wrong too, Dave. You spelled it wrong too.
He
my
did
goodness.
that just to mess with you.
So, yeah. So, what is in your fall garden, Audrey? Like, I know you have like a 365 growing season over there. But like, what is in your fall garden right now?
Yes. So right now, actually, all the summer stuff is still producing. So, well, I grew a smaller summer garden this year just because, when I say small, I still grew like 30 tomato plants and like 20 peppers, but I didn't grow all the squash and all the other things like I normally do. I usually just do like every summer crop you could imagine, but we're actually in the process of starting to build a house. Construction hasn't started yet, but it's almost getting ready to start. So life has been crazy dealing with all that stuff. And so I'm like, okay, the garden has to be put on hold for a little bit. But now things are slowing down. So I'm excited for the fall season. So everything getting ready to go into the fall garden, which is not planted yet because summer stuff's still producing, but all my seedlings are started. I have cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, onions, kale, green onions, lettuces, artichokes. So artichokes, for anyone like in zone 9, mine were like 5 years old and they finally were like kind of getting to the peak of their life. Like they'll keep coming back every year here, but at a certain point, they just like the quality of the artichoke is not quite as good. So usually it's about I find like the 4 to 5 year range is when you should like get rid of them and replant. So this is now my year to replant. So
Yeah,
I'll plant in fall.
You're in artichoke country over there. That's like prime artichoke country.
Yes, and they grow so good. But the key is if you plant them. So I should have probably replanted last fall, but I didn't. So I replanted in early spring. But then by the time they actually mature, it's getting too warm. So they right away want to flower. And so your best bet in this area is to plant them in fall, and then we'll get a perfect harvest in the spring.
They have to stratify. They have to. I had to put mine in the freezer for like a month or so before I could plant the seeds. So
Okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to do that. I just planted my seeds last week, and they're already sprouting. So I didn't have to Or were you meaning like you put the plant in the fridge? What were you?
So when I read that, I got my seeds from So Right Seeds, and it said that the seeds themselves need to be stratified like 4 to 6 weeks, then plant them, and then you want to plant them in the fall to experience a frost so that they would produce a head.
Okay.
But then they would come back every year. But they said that I thought it said on the package they had to be cold stratified.
Okay, I
to
wonder if
come
that
up.
could be like maybe a variety thing, or maybe
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
don't know. I'm
Because
not sure.
mine sprouted super fast. Like I think I planted, what's today? Wednesday. I think I planted on Friday, and they're sprouted yesterday.
Right. Well, and y'all don't really get like much of a freeze or like much cold weather over there, so I don't know. It could be a different variety. I'm not sure.
Right, and it could just I don't even know which one I was growing. I think Green Globe or one of the more popular varieties. But and then when I get the raised beds we just got put together, I have like old raised beds that are like old wooden beds out in the garden, but I got new ones that are coming in. So
I saw the new metal beds.
Yeah. So Chris Hopkins, him and his wife, I believe they're in Missouri. So I got connected with them and I'm trying out their raised beds, which so far like the quality is like way better than all the other raised beds I've tried. Well, I don't want to say names out loud because I'm not trying to put any company down. But his seem very good, like much more heavy duty. They have I don't have them on yet, but they have the brackets on top to put your wood bench around the top. So we'll get that set up. And so they seem like great quality. I'm happy to promote them. And so we're going to get those set up in the garden, which they're built. I just need to get them filled. So once that's all done, then we'll have carrots and parsnips and potatoes and radishes, all your root crops.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
But, yeah. So basically everything, like everything on your list of cool season crops, I'll have all of it by the end of in the next 2 weeks, it'll all be in. And
good.
And they're perennial, so they'll come back. You can put those in your flower bed, and they're pretty cool because you have to pick them like right at the right time, like to get the artichokes.
Oh, the artichokes I'll do actually in the ground just because they get so big. So
right. No, I was saying they come back every year. Like for us, they're perennials.
Yeah.
And getting the timing of when to pick that heart is kind of hard. But even if you don't get the heart, the flowers are really great for pollinators. They're basically giant thistles. They're really cool. They're in the thistle family, I think.
You know what other type of seeds need gold certification? Persimmon seeds. Just putting that out there.
We never did talk about that, did we?
If you're saving persimmon seeds, you might want to put them in your fridge.
Are they persimmon seeds or are they persimmon pits? Are they pits?
They're seeds, yeah. I don't think I have one on me. But I keep leaving them in my pockets, but then I put them down in the fridge. I've got about 100 in there right now. So
oh, nice.
Are they all American varieties, or do you have
they're all American. They're for rootstocks.
No, there you go.
I have those magnolia seeds stratifying. They have to sit in soil in my fridge for like 4 months before I can plant them. Yeah, magnolia seed. That's weird.
The red ones, right? That you showed us. Those are cool.
Mine are doing it right now in my thicket. I have a little magnolia forest thicket thing going.
Nice. But Dave was talking about how they had their kids pee on like a pea tree every day to scare away the coyotes. I want to shout out this book though. I read this. We're talking about coyotes. Coyote America. It's like the spiritual and cultural history of coyotes in America. Really interesting book. I heard about it on the Joe Rogan podcast like 10 years ago. So I will shout that one out since we're talking about coyotes. But I saw more of those. Whatever they were. What were we talking about? The fruits? We were talking about persimmons. I saw more persimmons at every single nursery. As soon as I hit Louisiana, I saw persimmons at every single nursery I went to. It was wild. And most of them had fruit. Like, when do you know? I know you said it before. When do you know a persimmon is fully ripe on a Japanese and American? Like, when do you know?
Well, there's 3 types. There's Asian varieties, which are astringent and non-astringent, and then American varieties, which are all astringent. And so on the American varieties, I literally shake the tree, and the ones that fall are generally ripe. But you can also look at the color, because they turn from like an opaque color to a more translucent type of color. Like you can start to sort of see through the flesh almost, in the sense of it being more clear versus cloudy. Now, on the Asian varieties, if you get a fuyu or those non-astringent, you can eat them like an apple. You can eat them firm, or you can wait till they get much riper. And a lot of times people will wait till the leaves fall off the tree, and some of the cold will help ripen it. But you got to be really careful, because if you eat one that's not ready and it's an astringent variety, your entire mouth will fill with the worst cottony feeling, and you just can't you can't spit it out. Like you got to rinse your whole mouth out, which I've had a lot in my life.
It's like
But
when you get grapes that have too many like tannins on the outside of the grape, and you like, you know what I'm talking about? Sometimes those red grapes will get you.
It's the worst. But the Asian varieties are like apple size, where the other ones are more like a really large grape. So it's quite a size difference for the Americans.
I've got a couple of questions over here on the Instagram side. How do you care for blueberries in the fall, winter? Josh, you got blueberries? Who has blueberries? I do, but I don't do much with them.
I do, but you really need acidic soil for blueberries to thrive, and I don't have that, and I haven't amended it. But I know a guy that grows a lot of blueberries, and it's all about soil pH. And they put them on like drip irrigation with an acidifying agent in the drip because they have to keep it like really acidic, and that's what does it. So that's if you don't have that, like you're just not going to get good blueberries, period.
Yeah. Somebody on the Instagram side was asking about planting broccoli and cauliflower already. Wait till it's consistently like in the 70s. It is too hot still. They're going to go to seed if you plant them.
Depends where you are, I would say.
Well,
if they're up north.
They're in Houston, so they said.
Got it.
Yeah. So no, it's still a little warm for us. That's why I've kind of been holding off. I mean, Des, what you're kind of waiting for everything to cool off for you to plant anything? Have you started any seeds, anything inside?
No, I'm gonna I feel like it's still way too hot, and because of my workload with school, I'm gonna go grab some transplants. I'm gonna see what's available this weekend out there, and hopefully this weekend I'm also gonna go grab some compost for my garden beds. I've still got peppers out there that are doing okay, and I've got basil going, I've got thyme, I've got oregano, I've got artichoke plants that have been out there the whole season, and they're in their first year, so they're very small. But I'm hoping they'll do really well this coming spring. But I'm really holding off on a lot of things. I did do some direct seeding of some cucumbers, and I'm going to be seeding some bush beans this week because I think we'll have enough time. But it's been so hot and so dry here that trying to keep my garden beds irrigated has been a challenge on its own. And everything is wilting in the afternoon sun. So I was just looking at the forecast right now, and it looks like finally we're going to have consistent overnight temps in the 70s and high 60s. So that's a good indicator to me that I need to start getting on the ball.
And you're in 8B?
Yes. No, 9A.
9A. Okay.
9A. Well, I did start some cilantro inside the house. It's in my hydroponic system, and it's going to go outside later, but there was no way.
I have a question for you about your school that I want to ask you a second, but one more thing I want to point out that this time last year is when I ordered my strawberry bare root plugs. So I planted my strawberries bare root at the end of September, and they are still alive in my garden. Like I have strawberry plants that made it a whole year alive in my garden, which is never thought was impossible. For me, it's impossible. Like it's so hot. They're in a really shady area in the garage or in the garden. But it's possible. So you can order your bare root strawberry plugs and get those ordered. But my question for you, Des, you're going to school. One of your professors is Vikram.
No.
Okay.
He is a professor in my department, but he's not one of my professors. He did co-author this textbook right here, and his name is on it. And I just got like a grade back I had to do a scientific lab report, like a seed pod lab report. I just got my grade back, and I made a 96.
Nice.
Just proud of myself because it's been 1 million years since I had to do any sort of science report, guys. So pretty proud. And I do have 2 tests this week in horticulture and one in economics. But yeah, like I have been in this office nonstop forever. If I am not in here, I am at my job, and I am also going to school while at my job as a hairdresser. So it's been fun.
Vikram's middle name is Bradley.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never would have guessed it was Brad. It's great. That's his kid's name, I think. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But yeah, school has been going really well. I am excited to see what direction I decide to really focus in, because there have been some new ideas that I didn't really consider that they're kind of thrown at me. And we'll see. I think it's been going well.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, we're happy to hear that everything's going pretty well. Like that's
also,
good.
I do have to say, one reason why I haven't been posting as much is because I was working several weeks ahead because we were going to Washington. We were there a week. We put all of our summer vacation plans on hold because you guys know about our dog and everything. So we really hadn't been anywhere. And so I was working 2 weeks ahead, and now I'm still a week ahead in most all of my courses, which is why I'm getting some breathing room now. So things are going to be more normal and you'll see me again.
For sure. Well, we're happy to have you this week. We're happy to have you back. Fall tree planting. This is the best time of year coming up. Maybe not right this second, but getting ready to do some fruit tree planting in the ground, in pots. Josh, Phil started off with that, man. What are y'all looking forward to planting? Phil,
you go first.
What you got, Phil?
Me? All right,
yeah, bro.
First. Well, I'm getting to this point, and Josh probably has this of like, where can I put things on my property? And I have to like think about it and like to mull on it. And like for anyone who's still listening, this is really like an awesome win before we started. I was like, I just love to go piddle in my backyard and just kick the leaves and like hang out and get acclimated. And it's kind of what I preemptive before I even do it, any sort of video for my YouTube channel for you guys. I get to think about it all. I do it with where I want to plant things, because I'm getting to this point. I'm like, I can shove plants places, but it may not do well. And so like, if you guys are interested in like maximizing your space, it's nice to like kind of place things out that'll do their best. But now is a really great time to plant your fig trees, your fruit trees. I planted my hardy citrus. I had a Prague Satsuma, which is one of the hardiest like satsuma like oranges you can get, but it's called a Satsuma, and I put that in the ground. And now it's just a great time to put stuff in the ground because all the work is going to be done under the hood in the soil. So come next year, they're rearing to go with an awesome root system. So that's my 2 cents, but I was able to sneak a few more fig trees. I'm actually going to put a fig tree in the ground next week in my front yard. I never plant my front yard, so it is time.
Only if it gets as big as your neighbor's fig tree. That's thing is the mother of all fig trees.
The mother fig tree. It feeds everybody.
Epic.
Right, Josh?
Absolutely. I saw that fig tree. The thing was massive. It was a Celeste, right? Wasn't it?
That was a massive Celeste. But as far as like planting fruit trees, I feel like now it's like a really
now's the time. Yeah. What I tell people is if you're below the Mason-Dixon line or zone 7 and warmer, the fall is the best time. But if you're in a cold zone, planting in the fall can be problematic because of the freeze-thaw cycles. Because above in zone 6 and colder, sometimes it'll freeze down to a foot deep. So think about a fresh tree's roots in the ground, and that first freeze-thaw cycle can cause a lot of root damage. So that's why I tell people it depends on where you live. But in our areas, everybody here, fall's the best time because, like you said, all that work's going on under the ground. And summer's the most stressful time. And the first year of a tree planting is the time that it needs most consistent moisture. And it's usually moist throughout the winter in most climates. But I've got a lot I got to plant. I got a huge backlog. I got a pawpaw I got to put in the ground, my 8th pawpaw tree. And I just planted 9 honeyberry bushes in the hedge. And I got 4 more persimmons I just put in. And I have like 30 or 40 trees. I have no idea where I'm going to put them. I've decided I'm going to start selling plants because I've grown too many and I don't have enough time or space. So our big fall festival coming up in our little rinky-dink town that I live in, which is really small. I'm just going to like $5 a tree. Who wants a tree? Come on, just get them out there.
As long as I get free cuttings and I'll prune it for you.
I'm so envious though of your space. I feel like you guys have more space for fruit trees. I need space.
Oh yeah, get space. I mean, I will also say, like, I think persimmons are in that same ballpark. I think they grow at a different rate than fig trees, but like having them for smaller spaces is clutch. And you don't need pollinators. Like it's pretty freaking cool. Like you don't need like a second tree or a third tree, or like even my pineapple guavas need a buddy. But yeah, I just love that you can maximize stuff in smaller spaces than you think. Like I have 30 fruit trees around my property and the backyard alone, and it's like a quarter acre. So it's cool. And I was told, and I'm honoring it, is to keep the space open for all the activities for my kids.
They have to be tall enough to where they can climb them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm gonna be giving away some of my fig trees next weekend at Figtoberfest. Phil is gonna be over here next week for Figtoberfest, all the way in Tejas. So I'm very excited to see him next week. And we'll be giving away some fig trees and fig cuttings, all that good stuff. I think he's gonna actually be pruning a little bit at Celeste to send this way, and we also have some fig cuttings coming from the Fig Hunter as well to give away. So that's
we're anticipating a big turnout, and so we were talking with the Fig Hunter who's going to donate cut-ins again this year, and I was talking to Kimberly, who's runs his ag extension. I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to have to get this. This Celeste tree makes awesome early ripening figs, like end of July, beginning of August. I'm like, I'll just grab a box of these and I'm going to ship them down. So because I think when we did our propagation practice table, we finished in like the first 45 minutes that it started, and we're like, all right, we need more next year. So it'll be good. And actually that's what I'll be presenting on specifically this time. It will be propagation techniques.
That's awesome. No, I'm excited for Figtoberfest, and we're gonna have to get you some figs over there as well, Audrey, to replace those, because you can't be in the heart of fig country and not have figs. Like it's yeah. So and for those of y'all who don't know where she's at, she would maybe actually have fig wasps in her figs if they weren't completely ripe. Not if they're completely ripe, they've dissolved and broken down. But they could actually be caprifying even your parthenocarpic figs and making them even juicier, right, Phil?
Oh yeah, they can really change a fig. Like 100. You go on Brian's website and you can be like, he'll even have a side by side of like common fig, caprified fig, and you're like, whoa.
Turns really into jelly.
Cool stuff. My goal is, there are so many good fig varieties out there that are self-ripening that you want it to still taste good. So I mean, Bass's favorite, this Calderona de Mina I've been having, it might as well have been caprified based on the flavor profile, which is pretty cool.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Can I make a comment real quick to Justin, who is asking about Electroculture?
Yes.
I would love for you to make a comment about Electroculture. I'm not allowed to anymore.
It's also if people are gonna ban me, I started doing it in my garden, and I swear, like, it was the season of like everything changed in that season. Like, best production I've ever had. No, and like earlier you guys were asked about pests, and this is like where I think as a gardener, it's like you don't always know what it's from. Like, for years I've been working on soil health, and I've been working on bringing in more herbs and flowers and all the things. But the year I put in Electroculture, which was in it's been 2 full seasons now with it. The best 2 seasons of the garden I've ever had. And it's also like, I don't know, like it's not hurting anything for sure. But
it depends.
I think that it really helps. Like, I am a believer.
So I think Des has to hop off, I think, unless you're good, Des, but I would love for you to elaborate on what you set up exactly, because I hear so much about Electroculture. I'd love to know a little bit more, but I hear there's a lot of conflicting data. Des, do you have to hop off, Des?
I'm good.
Okay, let's go.
So in the first summit I ever hosted, which was February of 24, there was a speaker who came and presented, but her and I had like talked before this, and that's what inspired me to set my garden up with Electroculture. And at the time of recording this, or speaking right now, I'm like, I cannot think of her full name, but she actually had like a whole site, I think, and the last time I checked, it was like down. So I don't know if they were in a transition of like switching names, but it used to be called Freedom Electroculture, I believe. And her and her husband are in Louisiana, I think. And she had these incredible results like in her garden. And so like minimal watering, huge harvests. She had like all these tests of like, this plant had the Electroculture rod, this one didn't, and like significant pictures, videos, proof. So it's like, well, it's not going to hurt anything. And we have this whole pile of old copper. So my like mom and dad and my husband, we were like stripping the wire, and we just got bamboo stakes, which you can use any kind of wood, but I just thought like bamboo stakes, you could buy them I just bought a whole bunch the same size, like short ones and tall ones. And according to the initial lady that I learned from, depending on like which area, I think it's like northern and southern hemisphere maybe, And this is where I'm like, I don't know if it really matters, but you're supposed to wrap it like either counterclockwise or clockwise. And I don't remember which way I went.
I can see that. It's probably clockwise with the northern hemisphere and counterclockwise.
Yes,
with
so,
the
Yeah,
southern.
it's like how the toilets flush.
Right. And so it's like one of those things where I'm like, does that really make a difference? Like, or is that not true? I don't know. I'm like talking in a podcast one day and I say totally wrong, like whatever opposite of what we are. I was speaking like I said the wrong thing and everyone's like, you said the wrong word. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm just like, anyways, copying what I was learning.
Fine.
But anyway, so I did what she said, like whatever way you're supposed to go. I don't know if that part makes a difference. I feel like it would not, but I did it to her standard. I put one in every single raised bed and I put one like every 14 feet out in my long rows. And I've like since had them up. And
Were there any crystals?
No, like underneath, like in the soil.
Well, sometimes the poles have to be ornated with some sort of milk stone or something like that.
Oh,
crystal.
They don't.
I
seen
am
them
not.
both ways.
I am not making this shit up.
So I didn't do that. Like we just wrapped. We started at the bottom of the, whatever kind of wood you're using. Which I did ask about that, and she's like, it has to be wood. So I did bamboo stakes, and we started at the bottom, and then like we went like a foot past the top, so it like goes into the air, kind of. Like it's your little twirl. So I don't know. And then you stick them like a foot in the ground, and then that's all I did. And I stuck them out everywhere. And I don't know, like I haven't taken them out because I'm like, if they are helping, I don't want to have a season where they're not helping. And so, but when I put them all in, it was the best season I've had in a long time.
Honestly, it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't hurt anything. And if it works for you, if it works for the individual, then I think that it's worth an effort, to try it.
I do want to say, so she did like little tiny experiments where she did like mini electroculture rods, like in individual pots, and did like actual tests where it's like, okay, here's 2 tomato plants planted on the same day, same variety, one with one and one without, and like significant differences. I haven't yet done that. So I'm like, that would be a good test to show, is it really helping? I only have done it on a big scale out in the garden, but not in a tiny like potted area. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But I do know, like back in like old history, like old farms, like every old farm had copper antennas, and like it was a old school practice. So I'm like, I think it probably does do something because it was an old practice that a lot of farmers did. And so I don't know. It's like interesting because it quit at a certain point in history. And I'm not also like, I'm not like 100% familiar with it, but I did a little bit, like I did a lot of research back then, and it was a very old used practice that I think was probably beneficial. And it's like, they probably did it because it worked.
Yeah. I've gone on some fantastic rants about how dumb I think electroculture is. But it's what you're doing, I don't have a problem with.
What do you have a problem with? Come on, let's just be honest here.
So
the crystals on the end, isn't it? It's the crystals.
My problem is no matter how you do electroculture, there's going to be someone who's saying you're doing it wrong. My problem with electroculture is the hippies trying to sell $500 rods with crystals and jewels and stuff like that adorned. I think that's not good. If you already have the materials, go ahead. But copper is not cheap. So I do think it is a scam to try to manipulate people into buying junk off Amazon. If it was real, I think farmers across the world would still be using it. So I don't know. But you know what? Just like when people put their coffee grounds and their eggshells in the garden, I'm sure it helps. If it makes you feel good, it's not hurting nothing. That's my thing. My thing is like where people, are standing inside of copper bowls and, every morning and grounding themselves at night when they sleep and things like that. That's where I don't really know about all that. So you can go down a rabbit hole with that. And there are some people that swear by it. It's hard for me to believe certain things. And there's a lot of things out there, and who am I to tell people this is America? You do whatever you want to do in your garden. If you want to pour gasoline on your tomatoes because you think it makes them grow faster, go ahead. Go ahead. I mean, that's fine. But it's, to me, I don't think it does anything. I've done a couple of experiments and I think it's a waste of time. So,
yeah.
But I'm glad it works for you. Whatever works for you.
But it's also one of the things where I'm like, I haven't not since took it out because I'm like, that was like the season where it turned. But it's like other things probably got better that season too. Like my soil health's finally probably good.
Yeah. There's so many factors and everything, you know. It's just what I mean, I believe in the power of positive thought. Look at Phil. He writes on his things, you know, like what do you write on your fig cuttings, Phil?
Love and gratitude.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I believe
And I
in the
write
power
love
of
on every
positive
little
thought.
plant tags because I'm like, what was his name?
Do you talk to your
The
plants,
the
Destin?
Japanese
'Cause
doctor
I
that
talk to
talked
my
about
plants.
I talk to my
positivity
plants.
and
I talk to my
visualization.
plants.
Positive
We're all
reinforcement goes
just
a long way.
frequencies in physics.
Yes. No, I believe in positivity. I just don't believe in scamming people. That's my thing. I don't want to scam anybody out of money or anything like that. You know, that's my thing when I see websites where these hippies are selling like totem poles for $500 stick in your garden. Like
Well,
that.
yeah, I would probably agree that it would.
And
Whenever
yeah,
somebody's buying something, they have to show accountability for what they're being persuaded into purchasing.
yeah, and there's no standardized like this is how you do it. And it's like, no, you got to do it clockwise. No, you got to do it counterclockwise. Oh, you put the wrong kind of stone at the top of your rock. Oh, you got to have it grounded to this. You can't have a bamboo stick. You got to have a native wood stick in your, you know, it's got to be.
I think it has to be a home tumbled rock that you make.
Yes, it does.
Top, so.
And I will be selling them for $50 a piece to put on top of your Electroculture.
It would probably help if your conglomerate rocks had some quantity of magnetite in it, so it could be polarized. So
100%.
Yeah, there you go.
but that's
Yeah.
only
You
a
know?
geologist saying that.
Yeah.
Homogenized memory rock, whatever Phil said. It's whatever.
It would
I
probably
agree.
be heterogeneous, but
Yeah, whatever Phil said.
Well, this conversation is electrifying. But let's
do it. Let's bring it back.
We'll go ahead, Phil.
No, you go. I think I'm ready to
No, we're gonna close it out here pretty quick. Phil, what do you got besides Figtoberfest? What you got going on? What's coming up, dude?
Oh my gosh! So I have fig. I'm like pretty low on fig trees, but I have a fig cutting sale in December. But outside of Figtoberfest, you guys want to support Phil's Figs? I got some sick hats.
Yes,
and they float because I surf and I like to have it in the ocean when I'm with my kids. And they're good for that UV index, let me tell you. And that's all I got going on until come February when I get to present again on Figs with you, Audrey.
Awesome.
I'm looking forward to seeing you next week, Phil. I'm very excited. We're going to have some good times.
Yeah, man.
All right. Des, what do you got going on? What you got coming up, girl?
LOL. I got school. I got so much school. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I have been hoarding a bunch of butterflies and wings, and I've been working on pinning some of the butterflies that I found in the garden, and I do actually have some videos that I'm going to be sharing about them. I want to talk about the my yearly Agatha and how I love my garden spider, my yellow garden spiders, but maybe we shouldn't have them that close to the pollinator garden. Reasons. So I have a whole video coming out about that I've been working on. But beyond that, really, like I said, I am going to try and film some of me getting the garden ready for fall. And I am going to be getting serious over the fall, like late fall into winter, of figuring out my irrigation out there. I didn't get to do that earlier in the spring. So I cannot live like this anymore.
I understand.
Yeah.
We're happy to have you back. We missed you. We definitely missed you.
Well, I'm glad to be back. It's been, I don't even know what planet I've been on most of the time. So
it's mostly Earth, but it's just a different vibrational frequency of existence.
Yeah. I mean, I did have that one like really glorious week where I was in Washington State, and that I love that place. Wow. It's hard to come back from the Pacific Northwest to hot.
Yes, it is. Well, thanks, Des. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Mr. Jash, how you doing, buddy? What you got coming up?
I've got, besides a lot of things to plant, I've been sort of branching out on my content lately and interviewing some people outside of the direct I'm a gardener type of stuff into more health and wellness. So I'm excited about that content coming down the pipe. And also just trying new formats. You know, I did the last 2 weeks, I did every day somebody replying to a comment over video. So that's sort of a new thing. So I'm just always experimenting on social just to see what works, what doesn't. And it's been fun. I just hit my 2-year mark of being on social media. like this past week. So it was sort of a sit and reflect moment of like, what am I doing? Like, why am I doing this? What's going on? And so I'm just trying to think about really what I want to get out of it and what I want to give back to people. And yeah, I want to branch out beyond fruit trees
Love
so
it.
that I can get a better yield at some low-hanging fruit.
Root
Oh
in
my
a little
God.
deeper so you can branch out a little further.
I love
Just
it.
want it to ripen into a fruition. I gotta stop. I gotta stop.
God.
Hey, the day you plant the seed is not the day you eat the fruit.
Yeah.
Just
So,
saying.
My
so
God.
many good sayings. Anyway, but I'm excited to see what the future holds, and I love talking fruit trees. So this has been so much fun. And Audrey, I'm so glad that you could join us today. So great having you on.
Yes.
Yes, thank you, Audrey.
Yeah.
Audrey, so you have your spring, is the spring summit or the fall, is there a fall summit or a spring summit?
So I used to do both. I used to do I did like spring and then fall and then spring. And then this fall I skipped a summit, but I'm just gonna do the spring summit. So it's a lot of work to put on just as a solo host. Hopefully at maybe one point down the road I'll go back to 2 a year, but too much work like at this moment in time with life and not having people necessarily help. So I'm going to one per year, which I think the fall it was fun for me because it's like people in our zones, there's so much growing to do. But then there was people from other areas where they're like, I'm not even growing a garden right now. So I felt like most people always grow a spring garden. So there's still topics I could relate to year-round gardening, but for now it's just the one event per year, which is great. But I love doing both because I actually prefer the fall season. But
Me too.
as far as results go, like spring is for everybody. So that event will be the last week of February. So I feel like it's early enough before, the busiest part.
Everybody's antsy that time of year.
Yeah, it's like they're ready, like the new year's over, people are ready to plant, but it's not too late in the season, it's not too early. So it's worked out really well. So I plan forever until I quit doing it. It'll be the last week of February, hopefully forever. And,
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's
And
awesome.
my goal is always like, it's been really nice. I think the funnest part of doing the event is like getting to meet everyone. Like that's how I met Josh. And that's how I've now met you, Phil. I think I reached out to you. I know Destin, I think last year to see if you wanted to speak. And it's like, it just allowed me to like meet all these people in the industry where you work online and you like have your connections with your audience, but you don't have connections with other people. So it's been really cool getting to meet all the other people in this industry.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
That's the best part.
Yeah, that was I just got back from my trip to Alabama or it's that homesteading event over in Alabama. It was so much fun getting to meet other content creators.
Yeah.
Because they have some of the same stresses that you do, like gotta give videos out, gotta get content out, not like when I go to Thanksgiving or Christmas and I try to tell people like, oh, I gotta get something planted so I can they don't know what I'm talking about. They think I'm crazy. like what's the algorithm? Like, what are you talking about? Like, it's weird. I'm still trying to figure out what the algorithm is. Yeah, it's been crazy, but it's been awesome getting to meet people like you, Josh, Phil, Des. It's all led me to these people that I call my friends now. So it's been fantastic. So
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean. Well, thank you so much for coming on this week. I really appreciate you.
Yeah.
Y'all make sure y'all go follow Audrey's Little Farm. Make sure you follow Josh Gardens, Uncle Josh on Facebook, the Plant Techie everywhere else. Phil's Figs. Phil, are you still putting up weekly vlogs on Figs, dude?
Yeah, except I do have something I'm trying to pepper in some other stuff, but I have the results of my air layers coming out this week, which would be awesome. Because it looks pretty awesome. Like, I've got to say, I was really giddy when I did it.
So
That's
exciting.
awesome, dude. That's awesome. Well, and Des, you got some stuff you're sprinkling here and there for with your content while you're going to school. We all understand what you're going through right now. Don't be stressed out. Hopefully we'll see you next week, but I understand with your school and stuff, you got a lot going on. So we get that. I've got a lot of videos edited from my trip. I posted a video yesterday of like day 1. I've got day 2 split up into 3 different videos. They'll be coming out Thursday morning, Friday morning, Saturday morning, and then it's insane. So I'll have a bunch of my videos coming out from my trip. It's probably going to end up being like 10 to 12 videos for this entire trip. It's nuts.
Wow.
It's like
Amazing.
it's like 40 nurseries, guys. It was wild. It was pretty nuts. So, but yeah,
I love seeing them.
You're not working if you're having fun, right? It's not work. So thank y'all very much for being with me, and we'll see y'all next week. Real quick, because Craig wasn't here earlier, I'm gonna play his video one more time on the outro. Here we go.
This is the garden party, and we want to garden party with you. We talk about the plants we grow and some things you might not know. The garden party.